You ready?
Let's do it.
All right. Welcome in, everybody, to the first ever episode of the Hook the Line podcast. My name is Harrison Reeves, and I'm joined here by Ryan Yusko.
How's it
This is our
going?
first episode of the podcast. So if you found us, congratulations. You were going to be our first
First
listener.
of many.
First of many, hopefully. The setup that we're going to be doing for this podcast is going to be all things college sports. Right now, we're just doing college football, college basketball season's around the corner, so we'll be starting that in a few weeks. And then we're going to be doing 2 episodes a week. That's the plan. We're going to be doing Tuesdays and Fridays. Tuesdays, obviously, today's episode is going to be our initial reaction to last week, which had some great, great games, a great slate. And then we've
Yes,
got an
sir.
even better slate coming up that we're going to talk about today, a little bit after that. So we'll do initial reactions to last week, then we'll go into the previews of next week. We won't do our predictions yet because we're going to save that for Friday. That's going to be the line part of the podcast. And so when you find that on Friday, those are going to be your betting predictions. We're going to talk about score predictions and all of that. So if you are on that gambling side, be sure to tune in Friday, get
Oh
all
yeah.
the predictions, those lines. We've been pretty on fire to start the year. I think last week was not our best, but the weeks before that kind of rolling.
Gonna
Utah
happen.
really messed it up. I had Utah for a little bit, but
Oh yeah.
I think a lot of people got burned by that.
A lot of
So,
people fall for that trap, myself included. Don't
yep.
worry.
Yep. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and start getting into it. We've got about 5 or 6 games we're going to talk about from last week, and then we've got 5 or 6 games that we are going to talk about for this next upcoming week. If you do like this, make sure to give us a follow and then tell your friends and family about it. And we hope you
Yes,
guys enjoy it.
sir.
All right. So, Yusko, I'm going to go ahead and start us off with a little something fun. First ever episode. We're going to start with a catch and release segment. As you can
Okay.
see, the logo is a fish, so we're going to stick with the fish theme.
Big
And I'm
fish,
basically going
guys.
to give you rapid fire names, teams, or just blanket statements. And I want you to give me whether you like that, that's a catch, or whether you don't like that, that's a release.
Okay. All right.
All
I
right, we're
like
going to
this.
start. First one, probably biggest storyline in the last couple years, in my opinion. Vanderbilt is an SEC title contender.
Whoa, whoa. Wow. That's a heavy statement. Obviously, that team has had their fair share of ups and downs. Last year, the big win over Alabama. Some people consider that. I mean, obviously, it's a huge win for Vanderbilt in their recent football history, but I mean, now that Alabama team wasn't anything too exciting. I mean, they had obviously beat Georgia, but personally, I didn't think that was an Alabama team of the past. So I'm probably gonna have to say release. I do like Diego Pavi. I think he is a good quarterback, and they're an exciting team all around. And I do think the lower part of the SEC is a lot better than some of the other conferences out there, and ACC, Big 12. But to put them in the upper echelon with some of those other names, I don't think I can. I don't think I can do that.
Makes sense. Makes sense. I think I'm going to agree with you there. Although, big question, I think all the Alabama fans out there want to know is Alabama getting their get back in a big way this year in Tuscaloosa?
You know, I saw some things out there calling for DeBoer's head, get him out. Obviously he's filling a big seat, but Nick Saban, best coach of all time. I think you just got to give him some time. When a coach comes in like that, he doesn't get the guys that he wants his roster right away. Um, Obviously, that first game in Florida State was a big shock to everybody. This is a huge test they got going to Athens this week, so that'll be a huge measuring stick for them. I think if they're able to compete with this Kirby team, I think they're in a good spot. I don't know if I'm gonna catch or release that. I'll probably have to say release for now, just because I need to see more out of them. I don't think they're gonna be impressing a lot of people this early in the DeBoer era, but
Hmm.
you know they're Alabama. They get good recruits, so maybe I'll be wrong.
Yeah, I like that. We'll go ahead and jump into the second one. Pretty much the Vanderbilt of the Big Ten, in my opinion.
Uh oh. Uh
It's the
oh.
same blanket statement, but we got to talk about Indiana. It
Okay.
sucks. We got to
Okay.
talk about them. It's
Okay.
about time after this last week. So Indiana as either a Big Ten title contender or shot to make the college football playoff.
Okay. So obviously, shock of the Big Ten last year could have been the shock of the year, right? Nobody expected them to even come close to the college football playoff. And they did exactly that. They had a bunch of big wins. Obviously, kind of a cupcake schedule. We're not going to beat around the bush there. They didn't really play anybody fantastic besides, I mean, Michigan was a good team. Obviously, they got beat by Ohio State. But, this year, I mean, they're good. I mean, that last game against Illinois, I mean, I don't think anyone would tell you that they're going to go out and put 60 up on them.
Mm-hmm.
I do think the one shock of that game was their defensive line, which I'll talk about in our breakdown of their game last week. I think there's a couple of tiers when it comes to the Big Ten, right? Your tier one, tier S tier, Ohio State, Penn State, Oregon, right? No one's arguing with those three.
Exactly.
And I don't think Indiana has reached that, but I think the top of the next tier down is where I'd put Indiana.
Yeah.
And I think that they start to Signetti deserves some credit as a Purdue graduate. He deserves some recognition. That guy's done tremendous things for that program, that school, and pretty much with nothing. So
Yeah, well, we
hats
can
off
both
to them.
agree that Illinois has fallen out of that upper echelon, and being ranked in the top 10 was a disservice.
A little
for
bit
the
generous.
bowl.
Altmaier hype was, I mean, warranted, but there's some other big holes on that team that need to be addressed before
Yeah,
we come out here and say that they're dangerous.
yeah, and I thought personally for them still to be ranked this week was a little bit
Yeah,
crazy, but we'll see.
they got a big
IU
game
does
this
play a
week, right?
schedule this year, huh?
They got a big game this week, right? Are they
Yep,
playing
they got
USC?
I think,
Yep.
at home, so
That's
that'll
a
be another big
huge get back
test.
game. Yeah. But we'll talk about some of their struggles a little
Yeah,
bit
we'll
later on.
see. We'll see that. But speaking of Indiana, I mean, they do play teams this year, so we're gonna get a look. I mean, that was
Yep.
one of them. Then they go at Oregon and then at
Okay.
Penn State to end the year.
Oh boy.
Before
All
obviously
right.
playing Purdue. So they do play the big dogs, and so they'll get their chance to prove to the world. But yeah, I agree with you. I'm not quite sold on Indiana yet. I think it's hard for me to ever get there until I see them beat one of those big three teams.
Yeah.
But I mean, Mendoza looked incredible, and we'll talk about that. I mean, he's three
Yeah.
incompletions in the last two games. That's a for
They
real
they
stat.
were they were firing in all facets of the football game on Saturday, and that reflects in the final score. So
Yep. All
gotta
right.
give them their flowers.
We'll move into number three. Big name going into the season. A lot of hype. Heisman favorite. What have you seen so far? Arch Manning. Just
Arch Manning. Wow. So that's a good one because a lot of people before the season were like, this is clear cut Heisman favorite, right? He's going to go to the college football playoff, essentially walk there, right? In SEC. Like, let's relax for a second. This kid has started not a lot of games since he was a senior in high school. Like, we don't need to put this pressure of a Heisman Trophy favorite on a kid that hasn't started the game yet, really. So I think it's going to take time with Arch. I don't think the hate needs to be pouring in on him. I think that, right, they had a tough first game against Matt Patricia and Ohio State, Caleb Downs.
oh yeah.
I honestly think that was the best thing for him, right? That's the worst you're going to get. I wouldn't like be shocked if Ohio State went undefeated this year, honestly. Like
Mhm.
that defense is insane. So
Yeah.
for him to get tested like that early, it's pretty good for him. And I think he'll bounce back. If I was Arch, I would probably come. Can he wait? Is he draft eligible? I don't even
He
know.
is draft eligible, but
I
he's
don't
come
even
out
think he should go though.
either side.
I don't think he needs to rush himself to the NFL. I think
Mhm.
this is a big learning year for him, right? I know obviously he carried big expectations going in, like we've said, but we'll see how he performs in this back half of the schedule against some big SEC teams, right? I'm curious to see how he goes up against Kirby and Georgia.
Mhm.
Um,
Oklahoma as well. They got that.
Oklahoma's got a great defense that got displayed on Saturday, which we'll also talk about. But yeah, I think people were too high on him too early, is what I'll say. But I'm not ready to give up on him just yet.
Yeah, I agree with you. I do think though, a lot of Texas fans, I mean, they come with lofty expectations. Texas is a premier program.
Yeah,
If he
absolutely.
struggles really badly against Oklahoma, they are not going to be happy with him. I mean, they're not going to like that. And maybe it's not fair. I kind of agree with you that it's not fair to him, but Texas is going to be calling for some heads if it goes really wrong because it could. I mean, we saw same thing with DJ Lagway, any young quarterback, like throwing
Right.
5 interceptions last week. He could do the same thing against that Oklahoma defense. They could just wreak havoc on him.
I agree.
So, yeah, I agree. I'm not ready to give up on him either. I do think he's done it the right way, and I'm rooting for the kid. So, fourth one I got here is just overall the Big 12 as a contender, because I will say, from my point of view, I have not seen enough from the Big 12, and I think them in their own conference is competitive, and it's a very, toss-up conversation. But against other Power Four conferences, they do not look like they're ready to compete in any shape or form. I mean, losing to Mississippi State, you got Arizona State, and then you got who was the other one? Baylor losing to Auburn. So yeah, I think just the Big 12 in general. What do you like
I
thoughts?
mean, and are we going to talk about the favorite of going into the year, Kansas State, just being falling off the face of the earth? Like,
Yeah,
that has
practically
to be
eliminated.
the weirdest conference ever. Like, what are we talking? We have so many different teams capable of winning it, some could argue that's kind of cool. I mean, that could be. I mean, not knowing who's going to win is maybe a fun aspect that SEC and Big Ten don't really get because they have top tiers that are obviously the
Yep.
favorites and most likely going to be the champion of the conference.
Mhm.
But a lot of weird things going on. I think that Utah Texas Tech game was a really weird one.
Mhm.
Show because there was a lot of they didn't really play. Texas Tech played Oregon State and Utah played UCLA. Like there was a lot of question marks going into that game. But in terms of at large, I don't think we're going to see a ton of success when it comes playoff time with one of those teams, right? I
Mhm.
wonder who off the top of that, do you know who the betting favorite of the Big 12 is?
I would assume it was Utah last week, so I'm going to go ahead and assume that it's going to be Texas Tech.
Texas Tech. Okay. So, I mean, once again, that team deserves to be the favorite. They played really well at front four,
Mhm.
defense in general. But like I said, like Iowa State's a good team.
Mhm.
I mean, Utah could come back and bounce back, but if I'm like, say Texas Tech wins, right, and they have to go play a Penn State team that didn't, get the bye, I don't know if I love that, right? So just like I think that there's several teams in the SEC and the Big Ten that can beat Texas Tech as a
Mhm.
champion of another conference. You know what I mean? So I think that their success needs to be taken with a grain of salt as an at-large bid.
Yeah,
If that makes
totally
sense.
agree. I think they have not proven enough, and I mean, even if you have them going up against an Indiana, or then you look in the SEC and you have them going up against a Vanderbilt, like you're still in a toss-up zone in all of those games. And if you have a conference champion, you should be saying they're going to go out and win that game against
Right.
a middle tier to upper tier team in that
And
conference.
Arizona State was good last year. I just don't know. I mean, it's once again, it's really early, so it's hard to like put down a bunch of teams in the Big 12 already or
Uh-huh.
make a bold predictions. But I don't know if I see a team like that. I mean, obviously Scatabo was incredible last year, and they have a good coach down there too. Kenny, what's his name? Dillingham.
Dillingham.
Yeah,
Mhm. Yeah.
and Campbell for Iowa State. But yeah, I really don't put a pin in it. We'll talk about this come week 9, week 10 when we get a better picture of what's going on.
Yeah, I do. I think that's how long it's going to take to understand this conference. I think it's going to take all year. You're just going to
Yeah,
have flip-flop results, things that don't make sense. How did this team beat this team? And I do think Baylor's a strong team. I think they're in there. I mean, they've got a good quarterback. Any team that's got a good quarterback, that's what I will say. I mean, you look at the quarterbacks coming out of the Big 12. You got Devin Dampier, you
they're
got
pretty
Sam
decent.
Levitt,
Yeah,
Sawyer Robertson. So they got decent quarterbacks, but they got a lot to prove. So
right.
I agree. I guess we'll probably go two more. I have a bunch on here, but let's go what everybody's calling for. Maybe might be the Florida State of this year, and it's their
Oh
rival,
boy.
Florida. And Billy Napier slash DJ Lagway is what I have written down. Whose fault is it? Is it both their faults? Is it one or the other? who needs to go if one of them, and can Florida recover?
That's a good one because I think I mean, their defenses played decent, right? They didn't really let up a ton of points against Miami.
Hmm.
Only gave up 20 in Death Valley at night, right? I
Yep.
mean, what else are you gonna ask for from a defense? So,
Mhm.
Lagaway, I mean, he needs to play better. 5 interceptions is kind of a lot. Maybe maybe it needs to be play calling. I think it just comes down to just taking care of the ball, especially if your defense is going to give you that many possessions that are scoreless. Like I didn't really watch a ton of that LSU game, a
Mhm.
little bit of the Miami one, but still he's really not playing at a level that he needs to. And I mean, we've seen Florida. I don't really think it's the coach. I mean, he's a Alabama disciple. I mean, he's a smart guy. I think he's kind of just gotten some inconsistent execution out of his players. And they got a tough schedule. Like, let's
Oh
not.
yeah. Oh, they got
That
a
USF game was kind of, obviously it was brutal, right? But they probably had some thoughts in their mind about Death Valley the next week, Miami, and
yep.
all these other powerhouses they're going to have to go up against. So I don't know. I don't think you can fire him. Absolutely not. I think,
Mhm.
we just got to wait it out and see. I mean, I don't know how, like, did you think Florida was going to be like a huge, surprise coming in that they were going to be super good in the SEC? I feel like that was hard to predict.
Yeah, I think they were more, some people had him sleeper pick, some people had him disappointing pick. I think I had him on the bit lower end. But I was like, if they can perform well, their schedule gives them opportunities to be really good. But if they perform bad,
Right.
like what we've seen, their schedule is going to just rip them apart. And then, they've got Texas coming up at home next. So, potential get back. I mean, you got Arch Manning, DJ Lagway. That's like a potential get back game. If you win that, I mean, they finished the year last year. They started like this, and everybody called for Napier's head and all that. And then we saw them recover. It's just hard to do that 2 years in a row
Right.
consistently. So
Right.
we're gonna see. But yeah,
All
Florida.
right. I got one for you.
All right.
Last one.
I mean, yep. Good with that.
Catch or release. Clemson should have second thoughts about Dabo Sweeney.
I feel like I don't know if you watched that Dabo Sweeney press conference.
Oh yeah,
That he
everybody's
came
seen it.
out. Yeah, everybody's seen that, and he came out and he's like, "Look at my pedigree. Look at this." I mean, actually, like 30 minutes ago, before we started this call, Oklahoma State fired Mike Gundy,
Oh yeah,
and
saw
so
that.
you
He
start
got
wondering.
paid.
Oh yeah, oh he got paid, and Dabo will get paid. But Dabo, I mean, Dabo's come out and said that he wants to keep coaching, and he thinks he's at the top of his game. And I think it's really hard with his pedigree to argue anything other than, he's built something at Clemson, and they are. I mean, going into the season, I think we talked about it. I had them winning the national championship, and I think a lot of other people did. So I'm not ashamed to say that. And that roster that he built, even without, the whole talk of hey, he doesn't use NIL or transfer portal or all that, he's still built one of the best rosters in college football. They just that Syracuse game was like that was one of those where you keep thinking. I think every week I keep thinking, Clemson, all right, they're gonna get back on track. Everyone's underestimating them now. They're unranked. They got nothing to lose. And then Syracuse came out and just whipped them from
Not good.
start to finish. And
Really not good.
so, yeah, I think the way the season's going, you can't help but talk about that he might need to get fired. And Clemson has so much money, they bring someone else in. Um, but I think you got to give it a little bit. I think it's
Yeah.
similar to Napier's situation,
Right.
but I think Dabo has a bit longer leash than Billy Napier does,
He's earned it for
given what
sure.
he's done. So I
He's
would
earned
I
it.
would say probably release. I think they should keep Dabo. I think he'll get better, he'll learn,
Yeah.
but he
That
seems like
press
he's doing
conference
just
was
fine.
wild though. That was funny.
Yeah.
That's
No,
what
but
that's what prompted me to come
yeah.
out and say that. But
I love
no,
that.
absolutely not. They shouldn't be
Well,
giving
yeah.
up on Dabo with the
Mhm.
pedigree that he carries.
Yeah, I totally agree. So I like that segment. We'll continue to do that. Obviously, maybe not every week, but every once in a while when we have things, that are pressing like that, or just get to the start of season, every 3 weeks or so, we might bring that back. I think it's a fun little segment. You get a little checkpoint here and there on just guys you thought might be good. So, with that being said, I think we can start getting into these initial reactions
Yep. Which one we
about
want to talk about
what
first?
we saw. I say we start with, in time order, big noon kickoff, a
Okay.
game that I think both of us put down as, I was somewhat comfortable in my pick of Utah and what I
Oh
thought of
yeah,
Utah and Devin Dampier, and I think you were as well.
absolutely.
Uh, and for the most part, this game was pretty much a grudge match and unenjoyable. And then they just kind of, I think the scoreline's a little bit, not indicative of how close this game was for a while, but
Yeah, I agree.
Tech did run away with it at the end with their
Yes.
backup quarterback, I will say. So who looked good?
Impressive. Not gonna lie. Gotta tip your cap to the freshman. Did a good job.
Mhm.
Um, so I think the storyline for this game, obviously it's defense, but more specifically is the effort from Tech's defensive front. I think that's what really kind of made the game. Like you could see, came out, Utah couldn't get anything going. They got the ball first, couldn't get three and out automatically, right? And they were talking about it on game day. I was like, I mean, yeah, whoop de doo. They have some transfers on the defensive line, like so does everybody else.
Mhm.
And they came out and shut me up so fast. Like that was like
Yep.
they were punching balls out and turning the ball over, right? It was an ugly game. Like I was like, I'm sitting there watching it. My dad's looking at me like, "Hey, why the hell is this game on? Can we watch anything else?" Like I was like, yeah, I mean it's a close game, but
Yeah.
yeah, just sweating out my bets profusely in my family room. But I mean, yeah, I mean, we can talk. I'll go in depth more because that was probably the main headline of the game. But there was also some good offensive play calling there at the end, as you saw the offensive tick up.
Yep.
Um, I want to highlight this one series of events that Texas Tech offensive coordinator did really well. So they're gonna they like to use I think this was the lead blocker, but the
Mhm.
throw it out to the back in space because the line of scrimmage was getting all jammed up all game.
Yep.
Right, these front four for each team were clogging it up. So they're gonna go out to a swing screen out here, right? But what Utah did well is they're playing man. So these guys have these guys, this guy has this guy, and then this backer is responsible for the running back.
Mhm.
So as this play comes out, you're going to see him do a good job. I mean, this is a terrible block from our pasty boy over here. Just blows this play up. And that's huge, right? Because they get the third, fourth, and two. Like you're going for that. But now
Yeah,
you're
you're at
way back
midfield,
up.
so you
You lose 3 yards, right? And now you're punting, right? So and this is still, within reachable distance of the game. We're third quarter, right? One score game.
get.
Okay. But what I love is that he's going to come back to that. Okay. Same situation. Got a guy coming out to catch a screen pass in the flat, but they're not playing man anymore. They went to a zone,
Mhm.
which is going to burn them. So deep third, deep third, deep third, right? These guys have all these areas of the field. This guy's here, this guy's here, this guy's here, this guy's here. Actually, I don't know what they do up front. I forget, but that's usually what a cover three zone looks, which is what it looks like it is.
Mhm.
Yeah, because he blitzes off the edge, he comes. So they're playing like a 3-3. Deep, deep, deep. Here, here, here.
Yep.
Okay. And so this guy's responsibility is to cover this whole flat area. Right. So he's immediately has to be conscious of him because that's his responsibility. Right. And nice fake by the freshman. Gets him to bite right here. He's already out of position because this guy is blazing by him.
Mhm.
And so another thing that we need to know on the back end is that this guy has to be conscious of this guy because he's going to end up coming here. And he has to follow him because this looks like a go route. And what's going to happen is he's going to follow him, and nobody's going to be open, or nobody's going to be on him. And he's going to be wide open.
Yeah.
I know it goes out of frame a little bit. but he does a good job of picking that safety so that there's no chance in hell he's going to be able to get over there, and he's wide open for the touchdown. And this is a huge point in the game as well because, once again, one-score game late in the game, but now he just made it a two-score game going up 10.
Yeah.
And that's a huge point in the game. Honestly, I think that's what won them the game. And honestly, beautiful play calling from Texas Tech. They shocked me. I'm sure they shocked a lot of people, but that was a couple noteworthy things I took away.
Yeah, no, I mean, great play calling, and obviously that backup quarterback, I think, surprised everybody because their starting quarterback honestly struggled for the most part with Utah's defense, and then it just seemed like a change of pace, change of scenery, just kind of caught Utah off guard. They weren't ready for that quarterback, and sometimes that happens. Sometimes, backup quarterback struggles, but sometimes they come in and they give the new look offense, and they're not ready for that. They didn't prepare for that. So I think Texas Tech did a really good job of adjusting as the game went on, and that's what you were showing there.
Yep.
All right. All right. So moving on after Texas Tech, I think we went through that game pretty well. It was kind of ugly game, but now the Big 12 favorite, Texas Tech, we'll see kind of what happens with that, what happens with the Big
Yep.
12. We got our choice. So you can pick. What do we want? We got Auburn, Oklahoma, we got Florida, Miami, Illinois, Indiana, or Michigan and Nebraska. Where do you want to go next?
So let's go in the direction of the Illinois Fighting Illini because I turned on these highlights and I was audibly laughing watching them try to score points on Indiana Hoosiers team, who's probably mostly not known for their defense.
No.
I don't think they are. I mean, all I knew coming into this matchup was Altmaier and Mendoza.
Mm-hmm.
But this was the worst offensive line performance I have seen in a long time. 10 points, and then the defense let up 63. Like, they got dominated. We talked about it
Yeah,
earlier. They
seven sacks as well. 7 sacks. I mean, that's
7 sacks. We're going to look at a few of them. I have like several of them clipped. I mean, we can just talk through a few because let's just save the time because it's the same mistake over and over again.
yeah.
Let's get into this because I mean, this was just an embarrassing performance.
Yeah, and I think it was pretty shocking after week 2 and they went on the road to Duke and put up 45 points.
Right.
I said to myself, okay, this offense knows how to work. Then they went and put up, 38 the next week, 52 the first week. So they should put up points, but
Right.
10 is
Like a
unacceptable.
normal team, right? So here we go.
Yeah, I'm excited to look at some of these clips.
Early in the game, right?
Yep.
Game still within reach. 2nd and 7. I think Indiana blocked a punt. Right? They started out sloppy. They needed to get back on track immediately. Right? So they're gonna go into their bag of tricks here. But what I'm noticing off the bat is whatever's going on the up front offensive line. Here we go. They're just going to run some basic stunts that you see every team in college football run, NFL, any real level of football.
Oh, inside, outside.
They don't even run it here. Like, watch the push that this guy gets on the guard. Just right into Altmaier's lap. He can't even throw that ball or else he's going to get batted down by the guy's freaking helmet. Like,
Yeah, this guy's falling down on the outside trying to keep up with his edge rush.
right? I mean, he gets tripped up, right? And that's a sack early in the game. 2nd and 7, you're now in 3rd and long, right? That's and 9 times out of 10, that's a punt. 3rd and 11, deep in your own territory, right? Everyone in the world knows you're probably throwing this ball, right? And so they got 6 guys that are potential blitzers, okay? So you should obviously match that. It looks like the running back staying in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe, right? Tight end can go out for a pass, but should work in your favor. Okay. It ends up not being all of them. This guy drops out. This guy drops out. So now you're left with 4 guys rushing to your 7, maybe 6, because this guy's probably going to either chip and go out or just run to the flat or something. I mean, look at this. The center just kind of gives this guy a love tap, and then he's just going to destroy the running back.
Just a basic swim move. I mean, that's middle school stuff.
I was doing that in flag. Like, what are we doing? He's at the top. top of his drop, and he's got a defender in his lap. What do you want Altmaier to do here? Right?
Yeah,
Just
and then obviously if I mean they only rush four, I mean the coverage is going to be somewhat good. So I mean you got to have
right.
some.
You have 7 guys on the back end, right? So you're not really worried about giving up open shot plays or anything like that. So if you're able to rush four and get this kind of pressure, it's hard to play offense. Like,
Mhm.
what else are you gonna do? And I think there was one more clip I wanted to look at from the end of the game that just goes to show that they made. All right, and then this is the end of the game because, and this just goes to show that they fixed nothing all game, 63-10, already down
Mhm.
53,
Yep.
and obvious passing situation. You got to try and get some points back, but the game's already over. He's going to drop back to pass, and they're going to run a simple stunt. I think this is an interception too, which is noteworthy. But the simple stunt, he's going to go here and he's going to come here, which offensive linemen should just pass it off to each other. They should really have no issue with that. It's only going to be these 5 guys coming to your 6, potentially 7. One of these guys might go out for the pass,
Mhm.
and he's just going to. Oh, it's not even him. Hold on.
I mean everyone gets beat.
Everyone gets in.
97
They
was.
actually do a great job of picking up this stunt, but this guy just gets destroyed.
Yeah, in 97 I think he had 2 sacks on the day, something like that, but he was just wreaking havoc from the D tackle spot.
Jeez. Right? He gets the pressure, right? He doesn't really get the sack. He gets the pressure, which is the most important part of this clip, because this is going to ultimately turn into a terrible throw from Luke Altmaier, right? This is a pick regardless. He doesn't get a hand on it, it's still a pick. And he gets a hand on it, and it's still a pick, right?
Yeah.
What an abysmal showing from the Fighting Illini. I mean, like,
Hmm.
where do we even go from here as a team? They need to fix that immediately. They got a huge game coming up against
So
the
they put you in the
Trojans.
top 10, and you got, I mean, the defensive lines in that conference. Indiana is not the defensive line that I look at and I worry about. I mean, when you get to
Didn't
nitty-gritty Penn State, Ohio State, those D lines are going to rip you apart.
Yeah, it's not even like that can't happen. You're gonna be ranked 9. I mean, that should be the least of your worries. 4-man pressures,
Hmm.
like, and just they killed them from start to finish. I showed a clip from the first quarter and the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
No adjustments, just domination. So
Yeah, and then I mean on the other side of the ball, you talk about what we've talked about the last couple of years has always been Illinois' defense. I mean, they sent a couple of years back, they sent a bunch of cornerbacks to the draft. They've had a good defense pretty much every year that I've been watching them, and then that defense just got eaten
torched.
up.
We
But
didn't
I don't know
even.
if
I
that's
didn't even need to show it.
Cincinnati or just Mendoza, but Mendoza seems significantly better than with this offense than it was last year.
Rourke was good too, but yeah, this kid deserves some credit too. We'll see how they do against maybe some better defenses because that was also an abysmal showing from them that we didn't really show. But
Yeah, but he went 21 and 23 for 267 and 5 touchdowns. I mean, you can show me that stat line alone, and
you
you
don't
can
even need
tell
to
me how
watch.
many games.
That's insane.
So yeah, I mean, for him to be in there, and then I mean, they're playing around. They got his brother. They got his brother in there running plays too. It's like you're just getting disrespected as a top 10 team. So that is
Embarrassing.
that's ugly, honestly. And I'm surprised they didn't drop him out of the ranking. 53. That's almost like a cupcake game. I mean, they beat other worse teams by
Dude,
less.
they lost. They beat Illinois better than they beat Old Dominion. Like
Mm,
what?
way better, way better. Yeah,
What?
that is that's not good. That's not so from Bielema's point of view. That's their head coach, right? Bielema. I mean, yeah, he needs to figure something out, or else it's going to be a long season. But USC, I'd be interested to see how that game works out. I don't think that offense is as potent as Indiana's looked, so maybe they got a chance to fix some things, and then they go to Purdue. So after that, we'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah. All right. Moving on from that game, I think we'll just stick to time slots, kind of 3:30 game, Auburn, Oklahoma. This game was weird. I
Weird.
think there's a lot of people have a lot of opinions about this game from either refereeing standpoint, but even without the refereeing, this game was just weird, different than what everybody thought it was going to be. And at the end of the day, 10 sacks versus 1 sack. Similar thing to Indiana,
Yeah,
Illinois.
you gotta be able to protect. And first of all, we don't have to beat around that game was horribly officiated. I
Yeah.
mean, we can SEC came out and even said it. Like that the
Mhm.
fact that that's even happening is embarrassing, right? You don't that should never happen.
Yeah.
And
And
it
so,
kind of, unfortunately could have probably maybe costed Auburn the game. Who knows? But still, that huge pass interference miss, and then a stupid fake substitute. Like we don't need to go into it,
and even
but
the scoop and score at the start. I mean, the scoop and score at the start, I think, was, it's what started it all. And it was like, okay, this is how it's going to be officiated. But then you get a catch at the end of the game
yeah,
on a 3rd and long that does the same thing. Ball comes out, which I think is a catch. But if you're going to call that a catch, then you got to call the other
it's
one.
got to be consistent. Like we got to seriously invest these guys. They're doing some investments over in the MLB about gambling. Like we sure these guys didn't have money on? Like, come on, what are
Yeah,
we doing
maybe
here?
there's some tape on the sideline somewhere that they stuck down. But either way, Jackson Arnold was not good enough. I thought he
Right?
played better than what a lot of people thought. But he missed. I mean, like the best player on the field on the day was Cam Coleman at all times, beating his man over again, double move, off the jump, everything. And he was just underthrowing him and Cam Coleman to make a play. And then he missed one wide open double move that really, really hurt Auburn with the chance to go score and
Yep.
kind of put a little bit of padding on it. Um, but yeah, I mean, hopefully that'll get better timing wise with that. But yeah, there were chances for Auburn to win that game, and at the end of the day, Oklahoma made the plays, and John Mateer made the drive that he needed to, went down and scored, and so you got to give credit where credit's due.
Yep. Absolutely. Um, Here, let's just look at this last drive because I think
Yeah,
that's they are originally like coming out of commercial break, going into the drive, like so you immediately get put in a hole by holding call or was it a holding call? Is that what it was?
yeah. So I mean, even overall throughout the game, I mean, I think Auburn had something like 14, 15 penalties. That also is not going to
Right.
make the game.
Can't help
But
you.
even to
Doesn't
start this drive, they get a holding penalty and then a false start penalty right off the back. I mean, they're moving in the wrong direction from the start.
absolutely.
It's like you just cannot be doing.
It's very hard to succeed when you have 10 penalties a game, right?
Mhm.
So this is the end of the game. Obviously, they had a penalty that hurt them to start the drive. So you're in 2nd and 25 with 2 minutes left and one timeout. So already at a disadvantage. But like, why are like what is going on up here? Story of the game is probably Oklahoma's defense, I guess, because it really did all come down to this, all things considered, and guard misses a
Yeah.
block,
It's just
right?
bullying. I mean, it's just bullying at the end of the day. What I saw out of that. I mean,
It's just that can't happen. Arnold's in a 3-step drop. He's looking out to his left. I know the broadcast angle doesn't really help because we can't see what's going on over here, but he's like, we got to just look for something short. I don't know if the route concepts on the back end were helping him, but
yeah,
that
they were
wasn't
both running. I think they were both running 8 to 10 yard, just kind of curls
curls. Yeah,
on the
yeah.
left side, and then the other ones
That
were.
ball's got to get out, but poor guy didn't have any time because guy's in his lap, right? And then here's another stunt. I
No.
don't know what this is, but ends up being a good play. 3rd and long, got to get the ball out. I mean, everybody knows you have 2 plays, but what is this guy doing? Like, he's just not. Like, what are you looking
Yeah.
at? He might as well be on the couch.
Yeah, I
Go
mean that's
block
like
someone,
you
dude.
put one of us out there. You put one of us out there and you say, "All right, go block these guys." I'm on his page. I'm with him. I don't want to get in the way of any of these huge dudes. So I'll look around and I'll act like I'm doing something, and then I'll see a couple defenders and just be like, "Ah, okay,
Honestly,
maybe."
blocked pretty well otherwise. But
Yeah,
Arnold's kind of got to he's got to make a decision, right? I don't know. Once again, don't really know what's going on with the receivers, but we got to either run, get some yards back for 4th down because we know we're going for it,
yeah. Or you
and
just got to get the ball out. I mean,
just
you got
get it
not a
out,
lot of
man.
time. You
I
got to
mean,
get the ball out.
this disaster.
Just
I
gets
mean,
absolutely wrecked on the outside.
what is this? He even has running back to help him over there.
Who wants no part in that? The worst. He chips him into the quarterback. Actually, it's
And watch our boy. just watch his tackle just get destroyed.
No, Jeremiah Wright had one of the worst games I'd seen. I think there was a drive where he committed 4 penalties on his own. And he committed the false start penalty to get him into a 2nd and 25 as well.
This is essentially like a one-man pressure. These two are like damn near making out. This guy has like a heavy pass rush move. Like there's one guy really rushing.
Yeah, because they know, I
That's
mean, they
all.
know Arnold is going to run. They know that
Right.
that's his game
It's
plan.
fourth and 29, right?
Yeah.
That's just but to have it end like that, and I know that was a big topic in the gambling world, but
Yeah, the spread, all
tough
those 6.5 betters.
tough way to end.
It's a
But
really,
hopefully they have a big game coming up and against Texas A&M, so maybe we'll see a better performance,
yeah,
better
and I mean,
fight
I
at the
think I
end.
think it will be because I think that Texas A&M team doesn't have the defense. I think Oklahoma genuinely showed that they have maybe a top five, top 10 defense in the country. I think all the Heisman talk. I mean, John Mateer, I don't know if you saw, is the Heisman betting favorite. He
Yep.
didn't
All that.
impress me all that much in that game, but at the same time, I think he went something like 6 for 7 on the last drive, completed all the play, made the plays he needed to,
Right.
and that's what you look for when you're like somebody who needs to go win you a football game. So. Yeah, and then the last drive from Auburn, it's like you're talking about it again. You can have as many moral victories as you want, but when you get in those positions, you're up 17-16. You've been stopping them all game. You got to make one stop. You don't do it. Then you get a chance. All right, they didn't get the 2 point conversion. You got a chance to go win the game. Don't do it. That right there alone, you can complain no more about the game. You can say all you want about the refs, but there were so many chances to make that happen. Honestly, I would be in to change the game plan to just Cam Coleman 25 targets a game, throw it up, and let him just like ridiculously out jump
Why
everyone
not?
because he's an NFL receiver. But
He should.
obviously, Hugh Freeze isn't going to do that. He's going to stick with what he knows, which is having Jackson Arnold sit back there for 7 seconds. So
Yeah, we gotta something's gotta change.
the internal clock was very
Penalties. These guys should be running for days at practice this week. That is
yeah.
penalties just lose you the game alone.
I agree. No, and that
That's
offensive
crazy.
line, I mean, I was shocked to see that Auburn offensive line comes into the season as one of the most experienced and also one of the highest rated offensive lines. And I know Oklahoma's defensive line is good, but they didn't look like what had been talked about on TV all the time. And Auburn's got the guys outside, they got their running game. So they can figure it out, but it's going to take some.
Some could make you can make the argument that that those weren't the greatest play calls on second, third, and fourth down there at the end of the game. Maybe get some like try and chip your way back to a first down instead of going three long shots. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that obviously doesn't help your offensive line because they can only protect you for so long.
Yeah, apparently
Um,
seconds, 3 seconds.
yeah, that last one we will just burn that film.
Yeah.
So
But what I will say, Jackson Arnold, 0 turnovers through 4 weeks. I mean,
what
compared
what
to
else
what
can
they
you
had
ask?
last year, Peyton Thorne was probably around 15 to 16, maybe more. He had about as many turnovers as the SEC combined with this many games. So that's a good thing. There's positive takeaways from every game, but that one hurts. I mean, that one
Yeah,
hurts to lose and
that's
not
not
steal it on the
not
road.
fun.
So we'll see what they got against Texas A&M. We'll move. I think we got two more left here. We got Michigan, Nebraska, and Florida. So we'll go Michigan, Nebraska.
Yeah,
Big Big Ten game. Obviously, you got Rayola, Underwood. Michigan's got one game plan and one game plan only, and it worked. I mean, it's run the ball down your throat until you can stop it.
they
Nebraska.
looked good. They looked really good. I
Yeah.
mean, that offensive line. So I mean, I was looking to make a bet on that game, see how that game might go. I was looking to Michigan, Oklahoma, which told me a lot about the game we just talked about and the game we're about to talk about.
Yep.
And I thought Michigan's offense looked not great, right? So
Mm-hmm.
and that might have been more a tribute to the Oklahoma defense being more than I thought. So I think the Michigan offensive line really played insanely well
Mm-hmm.
in Lincoln, right? I mean, these guys were picking up the lanes that Underwood and Justice Haynes had to run were insanely large. Like I was like dumbfounded when I turned.
I just want to point out before we get into this, Michigan had the same amount of carries as Nebraska did. They ran for 290 yards and averaged 9 yards a carry.
I mean,
I mean,
that's
when you're
insane.
doing that, you
You're
don't
not
have to
winning.
throw the ball. Bryce Underwood threw for 100 yards, but you
Yeah,
don't
you
have
don't
to
have
throw
to
the
run the
ball.
ball.
You
This
literally, and
does
then Nebraska's over here averaging about 1.5 yards a carry. So it's like I'm surprised they were as close as they were.
I mean, this is as close as thing to the Philadelphia Eagles as you can get, pretty
Yeah.
much, because this is just pure domination in the trenches, right? So this is just one play I want to highlight. Simple zone split. All that means is this guy's coming back in to block, and we got zone blocking for the offensive lineman. And just look at this gap that's created. I think it's going to be this gap that is filled.
Mm-hmm.
Look at this. Look at the guard just move this man out of the way. And this guy's not light, remember. He's doing this by himself. Just look at
Clear
how
a
good this
lane.
is. And also, good thing to point out, this guy is not in the fit because of the ability of their quarterback to run, which
Yeah.
is huge for them. And so he's not in the fit. And then this guy is also really fast. Like, this guy's got a quick burst. So this run game is just dangerous.
Oh
And this
my
is just
gosh.
like, this is where Nebraska is trying to slow down Michigan at the end of the game to just get their offense back on the field, and they just simply can't do it. I think there's
Yeah, it doesn't help when you're getting run over too
right
when you try to make
here it
tackles.
is, even later. This is later in the drive, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what I like is that when you have a quarterback that can run and is such a threat with his legs, it opens up so much for you. This is a simple quarterback draw, and right, so you have 6-man box and you have 6-man protection kind of thing. And they kind of just dominate. The guards are just insane. He's gonna help on with the center on this guy, right? And then he's gonna work up to the linebacker and get him out of the way. He's not gonna be able to do anything on the play, right? And so this is just an easy, explosive play, first down, right? Like what else can you ask? This quarterback doesn't even get touched until he's at the first down marker.
Yeah, I mean that initial punch that they got on the D line is just like everyone's held up. They got center of mass
You
on
got a
center.
lane here, lane here, lane here, lane here. Like he can go anywhere.
Yeah, I mean it's flawless,
And
honestly.
once again,
That offensive line.
late in the game, need a stop, and they don't get it. Or no, this is earlier in the drive. Just another one. Look at this guard, this big boy, probably my favorite player on this Michigan team. Just
Yeah, he's been clearing people left and right.
look at this guy. Is that
Yeah, I
I
mean
can't tell.
he's
Is
holding
that
the
one
prison
arm?
there. I mean he's
Is
like
that one arm he has? I can't even tell. No, he's got his other arm on. I think. Whatever. Either way, just he's no threat, right? You got another big boy hunting a linebacker,
yeah, I feel bad for that guy. I mean that's
right?
upsetting.
And then you got a bunch of other guys on the second level already making blocks
Mm-hmm.
with a guy that can run probably a 4.445. Like you're not stopping this team.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people get on Michigan get some flack. A lot of people get on them for being one dimensional and being like, oh, all you got to do is stop the run, stop the run. But their entire team, their wide receivers, even you watch their wide receivers block, they might be some of the best blocking. Even last year, Colston Loveland, I mean, like one of the best blocking tight ends in college football. And they all know what they're doing. They all know
Right.
their game plan. They're on the same page. So they're not going out for routes. They've got big body receivers. So you can say, you can stop them, whatever, but when you've got like you said, quarterback run, running back run, you can pull a QB power,
Right.
sweep to the right, sweep to the left, and you can pull those athletic guards that are huge. I mean, it's a
Hard to
miserable,
stop.
miserable football game. A lot of
It's
football games are fun to play in. It is miserable playing Michigan.
it's not fun. But I mean it does if you can stop that run, it'll test Bryce Underwood as a passer, which he's shown a little bit in the first few games, but they relied on that more heavily when they should be relying on this
Mhm.
kind of a style of the 2024 Philadelphia Eagles, like I mentioned earlier, where they're kind of just going to run it down their throat, and there's nothing you can really do about it.
Yeah,
So I'm curious to see how they do against the rest of the Big Ten um, in the coming weeks. Big game, obviously, to finish the year every year against
Mhm.
Ohio State, but that was an impressive showing. Got to give it to them.
And that Ohio State D line versus that Michigan O line is actually going to be. I mean, I'm excited to watch that now. But yeah, I mean, I think what you saw when they had JJ McCarthy, this is a more dangerous Michigan offense, and I know their team probably isn't as good all around this year. They don't have the same weapons that team did, but in general, Bryce Underwood, I think is going to be a star. I mean, he's
It's
just
a completely different style too. JJ was more under center, play action, bootleg. And now Bryce Underwood is more of like a read option, shotgun QB power guy. That's
yeah,
like totally different, but they're still going to be able to succeed, which
yeah.
I think is pretty impressive.
I agree. And as somebody, I mean, I know as somebody who loves football, and my dad raves about that offensive line. It's like you just love to see running football come back at some point.
It's awesome,
Good way.
especially when it's done at a level like that, because no, that you can't do it better than that.
I agree. And I mean, Raiola looked good. I mean, it's not like he looked bad in
Yeah,
the game. He was able to keep a minute with his arm. But when you're getting the clock just chewed up on you
he
all
can't
day,
get back on the field.
yeah, there's only so much you can
There's
do.
nothing he can do from the
Yeah,
sideline.
impressive showing from Underwood. I think he'll only get better as the season goes on.
Right.
I'll be
Gave
excited.
him so much money. Has to.
Yeah. Now we'll go to the Florida Gators because that is just. I feel bad for the Florida fans, but they also kind of I feel like most of them knew this might come. Miami's a really good football team, so I'm not going to take anything away from them. But Florida just looks out of sorts. I don't know. I watched a lot of that. I watched the game back last night, and there are so many pass plays. They just look after that performance from DJ Lagway against LSU. They look scared to push the ball down the field. They look scared to throw it more than 4 yards. It's a lot of behind the scrimmage stuff, and then that's putting you in second and 14, second and 13, and then you're asking your quarterback
Impossible.
to do a lot, especially against a Miami defense that looks like one of the past that looks really good.
They look pretty good. Honestly, you think about Miami, you think of Carson Beck. Obviously, that one-handed catch they had against Notre Dame, right? You think of Cam Moore. You think of offense, right?
Mhm.
But they've put together pretty good defense this year, and they're honestly probably a little bit underrated, in my opinion. I guess right now, I know a lot of people might say otherwise. Probably pretty fairly rated. They are now. Now that they are, we have a few weeks into the season, but
Mhm.
let's look at it a little bit because they really did play well. Third and short,
Nope.
right?
Just off the edge immediately.
Off the edge immediately. You have all these guys coming. And this could be a test to DJ Lagway. These highlights cut out super early, so you can't tell if like he's like protection or just waiting to change in plays. But you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys coming. Right? You gotta be able to block this up or get the ball out. Because they might not all come. Some of them might come, right? So you got to be ready. And they have nobody on this side of the field to help, right?
Hmm.
So you already have 3 more guys, like you're three over two. You're already outnumbered if all those guys come. You got to assume that all these down guys are going to come because that's their job
Hmm.
to do. Not all of them come. They only send 4, but they send it all to the side where they're not lined up, right? So you just get easy pressure on lag away, and that's them, right? So I don't know if this is like, I don't know if he has the keys to do this, or this is a call from the coaches, right? But that just simply can't happen. Like, at least shift him over,
Yeah,
right?
that's what I was gonna say. The running back. I mean, that's where if you're a quarterback, you just kind of flip the side that the running back's on. But
Right. And they think they're good. They think they're good because these guys drop out, right? So they have no idea what's going on over here.
yes,
Right.
that almost looks like on DJ Lagway there because he's got to be able to diagnose that the pressure is obviously coming from that side, or he's got to get the ball out
Right.
super early to that strong side because they're weak over there.
Right. Dude, you're hot. Like, you got to get this ball up fast if you're going to get pressure from over here when you're not protected. But he sends his eyes go this way. He has no idea if this guy's coming. It just simply can't happen.
Yeah.
Right. So at some points, you got to ask your quarterback to do at least a little. All right. And then late in the game, they need a touchdown pretty bad, 2nd and 8, right? Can't have any negative plays. And you should be fine offensively, given your numbers advantage. 6 versus 4, maybe 5 immediate threats. And they're not going to be because this guard's going to get destroyed.
Hmm.
Oh, yep. Swim move, get
Yeah.
out of there.
Wow.
So when you're left one on one, you gotta win,
Hmm. And the
especially if you're
running
gonna.
back is stepping up too. So
Running back doesn't really do much, right? He's got his eyes looking all the way over here for God knows why. Maybe he's got to just check it and then get out of there and run a route.
just
But
pats the guy on the back.
these offensive linemen do a terrible job when they need it the most. Swim move, and then the edge is just there to clean up the mess, right? So I mean, when you need it, some these teams are kind of crumbling when you need it the most, and
Mhm.
gonna need to clean some things up here if they want to win in the
Yeah,
next coming weeks.
that's hard to blame Dame DJ Lagway for, and same with Jackson Arnold. Some of that, it's just that's where the confidence comes from. You need to be able to believe in your O line and not look to run after every single
Sometimes
snap.
it comes down to grit there at the end. Who wants to win more, right? And those linemen, those big boys are tired. They've been playing for 60 minutes at that point, pretty
Yeah.
much.
Hmm.
Those guys are tired. We're gonna need to see some grit and maybe some shift in offensive play calling. But
Yeah, and that defense is for real. So
yeah,
you
true,
put
true.
that in there as well. I didn't realize that Miami runs the ball like they do, though. Like when I watched that game back, that offensive line of Miami, complete opposite of Florida's offensive line, just manhandled Florida, and they just ran it down their throat. They ran the ball 46 times, which I've thought of Miami as normally, an aerial attack, at least the last couple
Yeah,
years. And I thought because when they brought Carson Beck in, it would be like that. But yeah, they really 17 of 30 for Carson Beck for 160, not that much. And then 24 carries for their starting running back and 18 for their backup running back. That's all they needed to do. They just kind of proved that they were bigger, stronger, and heavier, honestly, up front than Florida was. And again, it's the same kind of thing we talk about with Michigan. It's really hard to win a game, especially when you fall behind, if you're getting ran all over and you're not getting the ball and you're losing time of possession. So
yep. A lot of similar endings, similar problems when it comes to these teams. So maybe they'll watch the podcast and fix it because
game
that's
is
just
game is won and lost in the trenches. That's what we learned from this last week of college football.
we
And
just
that
need.
is just
It's early though. It's early though. It's about adjustments, season long adjustments. They got a lot of teams on film now, so can prepare differently.
Yeah, we'll see. And I'm still a believer in Florida, so I think they can bounce back. I think their defense is legit. I think their defense is very legit. So they'll keep them in a lot of games, and
Definitely.
Lagway can just figure it out. And they've got weapons on the outside. I think they've got a Eugene Wilson who's pretty good, and then they've got a Dallas. He didn't get any catches anyways last week, but Eugene Wilson, I know Eugene Wilson's very good. But yeah, so good week of college football again. I think it's going to be even better this week. We got some big matchups. We'll just quickly
Huge.
run through those before we close it down today and then come back on Friday. So let's look at the big matchups this week. I think we
We
picked
got the whiteout, Alabama, Georgia, right? What else is on there?
USC and Illinois, kind of bounce back game for that. And we got LSU Ole Miss going to Ole Miss. There's a
That's a
lot of
big one.
big ones. A lot of teams that are walking into hostile environments that should theoretically be the better teams, which I
Right.
think when college football is at its best.
That's
That's
it. That'll be a good one too, because that line came out pretty even, didn't it? Right?
yeah.
LSU, Ole Miss. So,
Take a look at what those are at.
and I said Notre Dame has a big game too. They're going to the SEC. They're going to Arkansas, right?
Arkansas. Yep. And
That
actually,
game.
that was we didn't include this in the catch and release, but my last one that I wrote down was Notre Dame goes undefeated the rest of the season. And I think this is
Oh
their
yeah, runs
test
it back again.
to see that. I don't know if they make the college football playoffs regardless, but this Arkansas team looked good. I believe in that offense. Taylor Green is very good. I think he's underrated. But you cannot lose to Memphis the way they lost to Memphis. I don't know if you saw how that game
Oh
ended.
yeah, oh yeah. Punch at the
Holy
end.
cow.
Oh yeah,
Punch at the end, and then some big plays by Memphis, just like a let up by Arkansas. That last run where you go
devastating.
3rd and 10, and then they just big body you. You're an SEC team getting out muscled by a group of five opponent. Sam
Devastating.
Pittman. Oh dear, we are in trouble. Is
That's a big game though. That over under is like in the 60s.
Yeah. So currently that's at we'll start with that one, I guess, since we're here. That the spread opened up at 6.5. Since then it has moved down to 3.5 for Notre Dame. So a lot of people laying money on that. And then the over-under, yeah, 64, huge game. So the Fighting Irish look to
I
finally
might be a
get
sicko and take it. Tune
500.
in next week or tune in on Friday to find out. But
Oh, yeah. We'll be talking all that. But I'm excited to see because of what Arkansas's defensive line and what happened on that last play. I won't even look at the rest of the game. That last play alone.
that's all you
Now
need
you
to
come
know.
up against a team that's known for bullying people at the line of scrimmage. That's going to be a big test for those boys.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited as well.
Whiteout,
USC, yeah,
Whiteout's a big one too.
yeah,
Oregon. I actually am a huge fan of Oregon.
yeah.
I
Let's
think
talk
they're a
about
good team. I like Dante more the way he's played.
that.
The Whiteout's no joke. I mean, Penn
No,
State team has kind of gotten a lot of bad reviews early on the season. They haven't been playing well, right? Backdoor cover last week against Villanova of all teams.
yep.
Um, but I don't know. I mean, Dante hasn't really, played a little bit at UCLA.
Hmm.
Might not be ready for that team because that's still a good team, and they're coming in angry to a hostile, and Oregon's coming into a hostile environment, right? So you got to
Yeah,
be on your absolute A game.
I
We'll
agree.
see, but
Yeah,
it's a tough one.
I agree. I think Dante Moore isn't what they've had in the past. I think he's good, but I think
Mm-hmm.
he's also not the same as when you had Dylan Gabriel under center. So uh,
Dylan, Bo Nix, yeah,
the question though that everybody's waiting to be answered is can James Franklin win a big one? And now he gets a big one. And granted, it's at home, so a lot of people probably expect him to. But this is where he always seems to falter. If they can get over that hump this year, obviously Ohio State's the hump that they never can get over. But
right. And that'll be the biggest test. This Oregon team is a good team, but you're catching them early enough where they can still struggle a little bit.
yeah,
And the bigger test will come when they go to Columbus against that defense, and Drew Aller's going to have to work in that environment of the shoe and really try and perform, which I think will be interesting sight because that defense is no joke.
yeah, and Drew Aller hasn't looked exactly the part, I think, so far that we all
Young a little
expected.
bit.
But when you've got those two backs that are running behind him, Katron Allen and Nicholas Singleton, I mean, you don't have to do a lot to win a game. So we're gonna see how that Oregon defense holds up against that Penn State offense.
Should be a good one,
Should be a
no
good
doubt.
game. And then yeah, what we talk about LSU, Ole Miss for a little bit, going to the Grove. Ole Miss, I don't know. Did they come out and say who their starting quarterback's gonna be? I don't know if Austin
I don't
Simmons.
know. Is he still hurt?
I don't know, but that Chambliss guy, that Trinidad Chambliss guy, I mean,
Yeah, he played last week, right?
yeah, and he looks good. I mean, it's one of those situations where the backup comes in and you might not get your job back, Austin Simmons. So we're gonna have to
We'll
see.
see. That's a good game too. We'll see
And
how nuts.
LSU,
Because that's our first away game at LSU. Oh no, they
um,
played Clemson. Duh, 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 duh.
yeah, they
No,
did, but
it's not.
I got a lot of questions that I think need to be answered about LSU's offense because Garrett Nussmeier was like the story of the offseason about coming back and all the weapons they brought in. Barry and Brown, wide receiver from Kentucky, and they've got a lot of what they got their 6'7" tight end, Trey'Dez Green,
We
who's
get a
just
lot of draft hype too.
oh yeah, oh yeah. And their offense hasn't really looked the part against some, not to say lackluster defenses, but we saw Syracuse go put a number on Clemson and then
Yeah,
LSU didn't
exactly.
really do that to them. So
We'll see. That's another one. We'll get into it on Friday. Dig
yeah.
deeper.
No, I'm excited to get into all these lines on Friday and stuff. And then I think maybe we've got let's do USC Illinois before we get into the big one. That was maybe the game of the year last year. So USC Illinois, obviously another bounce back game for
Right.
Illinois. But USC, we both obviously Purdue graduates watched that Purdue game. I thought they didn't look very good for what they were told. I thought
No.
Purdue lost that game very handily just because of the red zone interceptions and all that. And
Right.
obviously, when you let a 380-pound man run the ball 80 yards and you somehow don't have anybody on the team that can catch him, I had time to text all of you on my phone and then look back at the TV, and I think he was about at the 40-yard line. Yeah, then you're going to lose the game.
We
So,
don't we don't even need to talk about Purdue football. It's not even worth my breath.
yeah, there was a lot
But
of that.
USC, I mean, they have an impressive quarterback. He's putting up good stats on
Yeah,
paper his first few
Mayava.
weeks. So, it'll be a real test to see how strong this Illinois team is. Get
Hmm.
punched in the mouth, lose by 53, and then come back the next week. and see how
Yeah,
you do back at home against, probably obviously a lesser opponent, but still,
yeah,
how do you handle,
I
how do you
agree.
handle it?
Another interesting game, and then game of the week. I in my opinion, because of what it delivered last year. Obviously, there's some games that maybe you could put LSU Ole Miss above that, but I'm never putting any game above
Nope.
Alabama going between the hedges and playing Georgia. I mean, Kirby Smart against Kalen DeBoer always delivers, and
Yep.
I think it will again.
I agree. I think this will be a defensive matchup. I
Hmm.
think that, it'll come down to probably time of possession, who's able to control the line of scrimmage. And we'll look more into it on Friday about the details of who might succeed and why. But initial leans are probably more of a defensive grudge match.
Yeah.
Who's going to be able to pressure Gunnar Stockton, Ty Simpson, who's able to fill run gaps, all that stuff. So
Yeah, no, I agree. And
another
I
one.
mean, in that Tennessee game, I think Gunnar Stockton and Georgia proved to a lot of people that, they're not just like Georgia teams of the past where it's, defense is gonna be the tone in the game. They show that they can go out and compete in a shootout. And
Yep,
so we'll see. I do think it'll be a defensive matchup, and I think you've got two young quarterbacks that are going to be asked to do a
a
lot
lot. Yep.
more than normal. Even if people don't think Alabama's very good, you're never going to count out one of these games.
Mm-mm.
So it
Nope.
should be fun. I wish I could be at this game. I wish I could go to this game.
That'd be a fun one for sure.
I'll definitely be watching it at night too, 7:30 p.m. I mean, that
Is
is
it?
going to
Oh
be.
my God, that's got to compete for screen time with Penn State, Oregon. God,
Is
who's
Penn
going
State
to miss
also
it?
at night?
Oh yeah,
Oh my God. I'm gonna have to put it on split screen, double box, head spinning around all
that's
the different games.
terrible scheduling, but two night game atmospheres at big times football schools. That's awesome.
Oh yeah. It'll
That's
be
what you
fun.
look for.
It'll be fun. And we'll bring that all Friday. We'll be talking about all these lines, all these predictions.
Come back for my locks.
Yeah,
I
we got
spit
locks.
locks.
We got absolutely locks this upcoming week. So please tune in.
Lions money line last night was free. Just
Yep.
just telling you, just give you my track record. I hit.
Yep.
Come back.
Yep. And we've been good. We've been good. Utah put us down in the dumps, but we're coming back strong. We're coming back good with a good week of college football. I'm just happy it's here and it's really kicking off now. You got conference play, so it should be fun. Again, tune
This
in
is what
on.
you look forward to. This stretch right here. So
Yep. Yeah, this is going to make or break a lot of team seasons. Alabama, if they lose a game, make or break. Georgia, see how good they are. We're
right.
going to learn a lot about a lot of teams in these upcoming weeks.
There's
So,
only
a
12
lot
to
of those
get
scheduled
in.
releases, you're going to see if you're right or not.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, make sure if you're listening now. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please come back on Friday. Tell your friends, family, whoever you want to talk to
Oh yeah.
about it. Hopefully, you can come on this journey with us. It should be fun. Again, we're just starting up, so feel free to leave us feedback. We'll take any constructive criticism that's possible. So, yeah.
See you
Thank
Friday,
you.
fellas.
See you guys Friday. Peace.